Every year, the NBA playoffs serve as a test for those who have qualified for the event. The pressure to perform better than everyone else is intense. Think about it. Your whole career is on the line. One wrong move can prove deadly. But we would certainly have a hard time managing our stress. This summer might be a game-changing run for some athletes, similar to Dirk Nowitzki's in 2011. In this video, let's look at some of these players. First, let's talk about Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic is a Serbian professional player who plays center for the Denver Nuggets. He was a four-time NBA All-Star and won the NBA's Most Valuable Player Award in the 2020-2021 season. And while he may be one of the best in the game, believe it or not, Nikola Jokic might be getting outclassed by his peers. Yes, we know it sounds wrong, but it's happening on the field. The lack of Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray relieves a lot of weight on our current MVP. We're not sure if you felt this, but his game during the season feels off. It seems like he's running for the sake of getting a title, and not really enjoying the game like he used to. It's understandable to want to fight for a title, but this is clearly not working for him. Many fans think that his landslide win for the NBA Most Valuable Player Award may have caused it. Right now, fans care more about what he's giving to the game rather than getting an MVP title. Many people's judgment of him starts and stops with, yeah, but what has he done in the playoffs? This has been going on for a while now, and it's very likely that this will continue until he wins. Ignore the fact that he has a postseason average of 25.9 points, 11.3 rebounds, and 6.4 assists. In terms of career playoff box, he trails just Michael Jordan and LeBron James, which is very admirable. The fans think that he has more potential and he needs to prove it. The thing with Nikola Jokic is that fans say that he would never have won any game if it wasn't for the help of his teammates Murray and MPJ. While sports, especially basketball, is a team effort, Nikola stans just want him to get a win by himself. Who knows? Maybe this season's playoffs will finally give Jokic the moment he and his fans have been waiting for. Next, we have Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Andrew Irving is a professional basketball player in the National Basketball Association for the Brooklyn Nets. After being picked up as the first overall choice in the 2011 NBA draft by the Cleveland Cavaliers, he was voted Rookie of the Year. He currently plays for the Brooklyn Nets as their point guard and shooting guard. Where do we even begin with him? Irving certainly deserves a special spot in this video. Calling him one of the best players in the NBA circuit is definitely not an understatement. After all, in 2016, he proved why he deserves to be called the best. He had won a championship with the Cleveland Cavaliers in such an epic fashion that it will be recorded in history. His sidestep three in Game 7 of the series will forever remain one of the most cold-blooded daggers in league history. While he may be really good on the field, Kyrie is not above some petty court drama. Though it may be funny to some, but honestly, these meltdowns have really tarnished his reputation. He's no longer remembered for his amazing skills in the game, but rather for being a diva in and out of the court. Certainly a reputation you wouldn't want to follow you around. That's why we think that Kyrie may be trying to fix his reputation this playoff season. So what has Kyrie done previously that he is now in makeup mode? Well, Irving has raised a lot of concern about himself for his unprofessional behavior. The most obvious thing that comes to mind is his lack of devotion to any of the teams he's played in. We know that the name of the game is money, and it's understandable that players will want to shift teams that will pay them more. But Kyrie Irving does it in such a callous way and makes his fans think that he doesn't really care about the sport, all he wants is money. Remember how he suddenly left the Cleveland Cavaliers only to join the Boston Celtics. Now this would have been fine, but then he had a change of heart, and yet again he ended up shifting his team. Now he's playing for, you guessed it, the Brooklyn Nets. He then made it a point to have an interview with the Garden crowd saying that he was planning on re-signing with them, but he has appeared in fewer than half of the Brooklyn Nets games since arriving. Now that's not a good look, is it? Fans aren't just upset at his constant change of teams, they're more upset at the fact that the teams are suffering because of his unprofessional attitude. It's safe to assume that without Kyrie being available and performing at his best, the Nets team will struggle against the Eastern Conference powerhouses like the Celtics or the Milwaukee Bucks. Maybe this playoff will finally give him the chance to redeem himself. He doesn't have any major problems to work on, he's exceptional on the field, and all he needs is a little good press this season and he will be set. Now we have Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is a French professional basketball player who currently plays for the Utah Jazz of the NBA. But that's not all. He also competes for the French national team in international competitions. Here's a fun little fact that you may not have known. He's actually one of the tallest players in the NBA, standing at 7 foot 1 inches tall. Saying that he is a giant is an understatement. If you're an NBA diehard, you must have heard of the Rudy Gobert playoff curse. Rudy Gobert's struggle to stay on the floor in the playoffs has been a topic of discussion on the internet for years. So, what is this theory? The theory goes like this. If you play small, spread out the Utah Jazz, and keep Gobert out of the paint, he will certainly become a liability. Ouch. That surely must hurt. If someone said that about us, we're not sure we'd be angry or fight back or just sit in the corner and cry. Last year, it was pretty obvious that when the Jazz collapsed against the Los Angeles Clippers, it was because the team didn't have Kawhi Leonard. The guards and wings routinely got to the rim, pushed Gobert to commit, and kicked out to open shooters in the corners. Retired Dallas Mavericks executive Haralabos Zalgaris tweeted that Utah has 1 excellent defender, 1 decent defender, and 8 turnstiles on defense. But the most shocking thing to him was the fact that Rudy Gobert wasn't allowed to be a part of the playoffs yet again. While Vulgaris and others defend Gobert, he remains a major target of criticism for the Jazz team that appears to be on the verge of disbanding. It's really sad to see that he's truly getting the short end of the stick. The man's doing his best. What else do you want from him? We think that if the Utah Jazz loses, they will place the blame solely on Rudy's shoulders. This year, Rudy may finally be able to get rid of this curse. If he plays better than what he did already, maybe the Utah Jazz will stop using him as a scapegoat. Up next, James Harden. James Edward Harden Jr. is a professional basketball player in the NBA for the Philadelphia 76ers. He is one of the NBA's greatest performers and has been deemed the league's best shooting guard as well as one of the league's best overall players. But he's certainly number 2 in the Sixers pecking order as a Sixer, the first choice being Joel Embiid. This season may be his chance to finally get his number 1 title. We for one think it's very likely he will. And then we have Chris Paul. Christopher Emmanuel Paul, better known as his nickname CP3, is an NBA basketball player with the Phoenix Suns. Fun fact, Paul is broadly accepted as one of the all-time great point guards. Chris Paul will go down in history as one of the best players regardless of whether he wins a championship. He is the only player in NBA history to average at least 18 points, 9 assists, and 2 steals in a single season. But whether he's closer to Magic Johnson or John Stockton on the all-time lists is dependent on his ability to win a championship this year. Even though Paul has been outstanding, this is only his 2nd season as a number 1 seed on a club that has won 60 games or more. His rivals in New Orleans, Los Angeles, and Houston all rose at the same time as extremely great teams such as Kobe Bryant's Lakers, Tim Duncan's Spurs, and Stephen Curry's Warriors. Well, that's a wrap for this video. Who do you think has the most to prove this season? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this. See you in the next one.